I'm your host and MC, James Ross, and this is Quantum Leopard. This episode we have wonderful Bronwyn Sweeney. This set was recorded on the 15th of July 2023 by Aniruddh Ojha at Theatre Delhi, and the interview took place on the 3rd of September 2024. Really interesting chat, this one, about one sort of sense of place in the world and shifting identities. Enjoy!
Hello, what's up? My name is Smith. No, just kidding. I was a callback to James. But no, my name is Bronwyn. My name is Bronwyn, or as my autocorrect would say, brown sauce. She's starting to feel a little rude and impersonal after all these years, if I'm honest. I thought these phones were supposed to be smart. But I think people are always a little bit surprised when they see my name in emails and government forms, and then all of this shows up in real life. And I think it's because with a name like Bronwyn Cleona Sweeney, they're expecting a pale Welsh chambermaid from a period drama. You know, the one who's naive and northern, and we know that she's naive because she's northern. She sleeps with the lord of the manor, she gets pregnant, she gets syphilis, or scurvy, or some other old-timey disease that's totally preventable by eating some fucking fruit. And she dies. Oh. But I'm more the sassy sidekick friend in a Netflix holiday rom-com that was clearly filmed in the summertime. Who tells her best friend Stacy, listen, if going home for the holidays doesn't make you brave enough to tell Jake how you really feel by running through airport security and not getting shot like I would, then nothing will. I'm gonna go pursue this lazy side story with the other ethnically ambiguous B-plot character. Reductive catchphrase, bye. I would watch that movie. All right, so I should also explain my accent real quick. I'm sure most of you have figured it out already, but to clarify for everyone in the room, yes, I was born in Blackpool. Don't worry, I hear how I sound too. I'm a fake American. I'm the human equivalent of I can't believe it's not butter. Because his accent is actually the product of being raised by an Irish father, a Zimbabwean mother, and growing up in Blackpool, Darlington, Athens, Orlando, Rome, Madrid, Atlanta, and London. I know. It sounds like a very cool list of cities, right? But living through all those moves felt like being on tour with a really shit cover band. And the problem with growing up around so many accents is my voice does that thing where it takes on the accent of wherever it is I'm speaking to. So I hear a little nod in there. All right, yeah. I believe the scientific term is called mirroring, but I think most people call it being a patronizing dick. Right? Like recently, I wasn't too far from here actually, and I helped these tourists from New York who were lost. And it's amazing how quickly my accent went from Good Samaritan to Goodfellas. I was like, oh, so what you want to do is you want to get off the subway, Covent Garden, and walk. You want to walk to Leicester Square? Yeah, it's a lot faster. Yeah, I know. A lot of people don't know that. Hey, bada bing, bada boom. New York stereotypes. Were you guys all transported to New York? 1944. Because of my accent mirroring problem, I could never go out with an Australian person. I tried. Do we have any Australians in the room? Better. I went out with this guy from Sydney. I think his name was Jono or Robbo or Jezza or Leza. And one night, things were getting intimate in the bedroom. Sorry. Don't know why I did that. I'm not even talking to an Australian person. Just the thought of talking to an Australian person makes me do that. One night, things were getting intimate in the bedroom with me and Jono, right? And he was like, oh yeah, you like that? I was like, yeah, I'm loving it heaps. Which was not hot for either of us. What else can I tell you about myself? It was my birthday recently. I turned 37. you. There was a lot louder. There was a lot more applause on this side of the room. So for you guys over here, let me just say the only acceptable way to respond to a comedian who tells you that they're older than 35 is to gasp dramatically. Then ask them how they look so young. So this side over here, can we try that again? It was my birthday recently. I turned 37. And? Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Totally unprompted. My beauty regime is very simple. It can be summed up in 2 words. No children. Apply liberally in the morning, a little bit at night. Mwah! No wrinkles. But a lot of my friends, now that we've hit the mid to late 30s age bracket, are complaining about getting older. And I was like, oh my God, my 20s. I miss my 20s when I was so young and carefree. Not me. Fuck my 20s. I love getting older. Going to gym, yeah, right? Yeah. Going to gym and spin class is the new club. I love cycling to nowhere. To songs I used to get drunk to. Brunch is the after party. Manny's, Petty's after party. Especially when you don't have children. Disposable income, baby. You know what my new favorite drug is now? Canceled plans. Who needs drugs? When you can experience the sheer euphoria of those magical words popping up on your phone. Sorry, mate. Gonna have to cancel. If I could take the words, don't hate me, but ... pulverize them and snort them up my nose, I would. Cancel plans should be classified as Class A drugs. A for adults. Now, if anyone here is looking for a similar drug, the high is a little different, but the come down's pretty sweet. May I suggest the canceled meeting? You take that shit on a Friday when the sun is out, you'd be high all weekend. All right, the people with kids, with kids with jobs got that joke. It's true I don't have children, but on the way over here, I did see this really cute young guy in the tube, and my first thought was, mama like. Which I think means I may be ready to be a predator soon. It's not that I don't want kids, I just thought I'd have kids the good old-fashioned way. Thought my best friend Stacy would die tragically running somewhere in heels. There'd be a knock at the door in the middle of the night. Some social worker with a baby in a basket would go, "Are you Brown Sauce Sweeney?" And the fantasy, her name is Eunice. She's from Alabama. Just go with it. And Eunice goes, "Alabama, baby. Is anyone from Bama?" All right. Do you know Eunice? Yeah. Cool. Good woman, Eunice. And she's like, "Are you Brown Sauce Sweeney?" "Well, here, this baby's yours. She's your problem now. You're the only family this kid's got." And I'd go, "But Eunice, I'm not ready to be a mother yet. I've just bought this flat in London with all white carpets." It's a fantasy, okay? I go, "Eunice, I can't be a mother. Not right now. Not with this healthy rotation of hot young sexual partners I've got." It's a fantasy, all right? I go, "I just don't have time to be a mother, Eunice. All right, I've got this job as a successful late-night female talk show host." It's a fantasy, okay? But you know, I don't know, over time, the seeds of motherhood would grow as me and the baby bonded, probably to like some folky, weepy cover of "You Make My Dreams Come True" by Hall & Oates. And by the end of the montage, I'd have to ask myself, did I save the kid? Did the kid save me? That, or I could just shack out with some guy with kids already. I am dating in like the divorced pool now. And I got big stepmother energy. Huge. But like, good stepmother energy, like the kind of stepmom that like the kids end up loving more than their bio mom. You know what I mean? Yeah, that kind of stepmother energy. Oh, you guys are great. What will I end on? Okay, well, a lot of my friends, the ones who are complaining about getting older, think that they've got the key to staying younger. And that is dating younger guys. All my friends are like, "Bronwyn, you gotta date younger. You gotta try these young guys out. They're so full of energy." I make it sound like we're a bunch of witchy pedos, like they're of age. All right? And like normally I'm not a fan of digital dating. I don't do the apps because I prefer to form crushes in real life. You know what I mean? Harbor them from a safe distance. Never act on them. Get friend zoned. Introduce the guy to his future wife. Get asked to do a speech at their wedding. You know what I mean? You just don't get that on dating apps. But I did it. I went younger and I dated some really nice young guys, and it was great, I have to say. They were full of energy. But dating younger guys is all fun and games until you wake up in Finn's house. That's Finn with a Y. In South London, all right? In a house that Finn shares with 8 other people. All right? The next morning, you ask Finn for a towel, and he says his only towel, singular, is in the wash. So there you are, patting yourself dry with some kitchen paper, wiping yourself with the cardboard from like a toilet roll, you know? You look in the shower, there's a loofah that looks like a fucking tumbleweed in the corner. The toothbrushes all look biblical with their bristles parted. There's no living room at Finn's house, just 3 other bedrooms. As you try to tiptoe out of there in the wee hours of midday, when everyone's still asleep. This was a weird way to end it. I didn't really have an ending. Don't date younger. Stay good, everyone. All right, bye.
And there we go. And that was Bronwyn Sweeney. Hi, Bronwyn. That was a lovely set. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.
You. Yeah, I know you said like you've moved past, talking about who you are and where you're from. But I'm fascinated by this because you list a very long. That's a very long list of places that you list growing up. Like none of them are like obviously military bases. So like I'm just like what's this girl's story? What's going on? And like is that story crime?
No, I mean, and I wish it was. It would have made, I think, it would have been so much more interesting to talk about on stage if my dad was in some kind of weird, crime ring. But no, he was just he was an engineer. So he managed power plants. So he managed a power plant in Greece, moved the family to Greece. The second power plant was in rural China, but the offices were in Orlando, Florida. So as a 12-year-old kid, we were like, let's move to Florida. And that's what we did. And then I tired of Florida and at the time was obsessed with Italian football. So I moved to Italy to go to university there because my parents were like, you can go there and chase the Italian footballers, but you have to get an education. So I did. There's no real connected story there. I just have this accent that from being in American schools, but that's it.
Yeah.
Not even a passport, not even a green card.
So you've got some of the disadvantages of being internationally reviled for the accent, but not the sort of high earning potential of the work permit.
Exactly. Oh. It's like I got the worst part of all the places that I've lived. I've got the accent from, I make fun of American accents, but honestly, it does help me a lot. I get to play kind of tourist sometimes, like I don't know any better, but I don't have the heart to tell people I've lived in London for 14 years. I mean, it's something that I do talk about in my show, and my show really was a way of kind of reconciling this thing I did years ago. I did go do like a kind of master's degree in like an American, it's not technically a master's, but basically it's like an advertising school. And I moved there when I was like, 22 or something. And I had so much noise in my head and identity confusion. Long story short, I remember getting to this airport in Atlanta being like terrified of having this American accent, but a British passport and all these visas that I needed to study there. So I just put on a British accent when I was at passport control. And, because I consider myself bilingual in British and American. It was easy for me to switch into it. I spent a lot of time growing up in England, visiting family. So it came very naturally. And I noticed how much nicer the guy was to me at passport control with an English accent. And then obviously some internalized identity shit. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. Internalized identity stuff. Living in the south of the U.S. So I got to my school and I just kept the accent for 2 years, which wasn't a really thought through thing, and I shouldn't have done that. And it was one of those things where I kind of had to like live with this lie for 2 years. So I kind of learned from that experience that, you've just got to be true to yourself, even if your accent isn't reflective of where you were born or where you grew up, but it's a lot easier than having to fake an identity for 2 years.
Wow, that is quite an impressive time to do. That's a 2 year extended immersive character bit, really, isn't it? That's quite a thing.
It, my first experience in comedy, I would say, just like some zany Mrs. Doubtfire type thing where I was like, oh no, now I gotta switch between two people depending on who's visiting me. Yeah.
How were like personal relationships, like friendships and romantic relationships within that 2 year period? If you had this sort of prophylactic barrier of having, this English accent, like, was that helpful in keeping yourself like safe and protected and insulated, or was it like necessarily like alienating and horrible?
I
As
think
somebody
it was
who's,
both.
I was about to say, as somebody whose English accent has only ever brought all the girls to the yard, like it's a slightly alien experience to me. So I'm just being nosy now. Go on.
No, not at all. And well, this is the thing I joke about in the set about accent mirroring, but like I have a tendency to kind of do both. It's I can either mirror your accent back to you, or there's another
Mm.
thing. I don't know what the name is for it, but I know that I have other international friends who say they have the same problem where if I'm in America, I'm obviously not American. So the English side of me will come out in a way because I want to establish myself as not one of them, right?
Yep, yep.
But then when I'm in
Differentiation. Yeah.
England, obviously I'm not seen as English or British, so it's easier to kind of ham up the American thing because you're like, why not? So it's like this weird, I don't know, balancing act. So I found when I lived in Atlanta, yes, if you have an English accent and yeah, milkshake brought all the boys to the yard, but then where could it go? Because you're living a lie, right? So it's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
I definitely didn't leave with any long-term friendships or relationships, but probably because I wasn't being true to myself. So I did that to myself.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Like, has moving around like changed how you view like what success looks like to you? Because the temptation I think for a lot of people is like move to a place and build a life in a specific place. But it sounds like you moved around quite a lot before settling here for the longest period of your life.
Yeah. I think that I'm really lucky that I come from a really close family. I'm one of four siblings.
Hmm.
Um, and everyone always asks me if I'm really close to my family because we moved around a lot or if it's just because we're a bunch of weirdos. And I don't know. It's like, I think I always just feel like my life is so, and this is going to make me sound like a dickhead. And I don't mean it to, but I think because I have parents from two different continents. My dad was Irish, my mom is Zimbabwean. So already from birth, there is no place that I belong to. And
Yeah.
then I'm born in a country and then I move around a lot. So really, there's nowhere that is home, air quotes. I feel the most at home when I'm with my family because they're the only people who get my experience. So I just feel like moving around was one of the greatest gifts my parents gave me, and that I got to experience different cultures. It made me understand myself. That sounds so cheesy, but I love moving around. It's something I love being a foreigner in a place. It's where I feel at home when I'm not from somewhere because
Hmm.
I just like experiencing things that don't feel familiar.
A lot of people obviously find a sense of identity and rootedness in where they are from and the relationship to their place, right? And like this is one of the reasons why colonial occupiers are so dead set on destroying the cultural heritage and sense of place of a people in order to displace and destroy them, right? Like that is the first step of
Mm.
genocide. You kill the people, but you also kill the idea of the people, right?
Yeah.
But it sounds like you've very much taken sort of the opposite tack of that, in the sense of moving around has been your identity, and you have taken little snippets and bits and bobs from where you are, but your sense of rootedness is on the go, but it's with people. You've got that sort of to mix a metaphor horribly, kind of like flexible rootedness that is based on specific people and individuals rather than places in a collective.
Well, that's it. We're all absorbent of the things that we're around, and it's not to say one is more right than the other. Because I'm incredibly jealous of people who have a hometown. I think it must be really
Mm.
nice to have that kind of sense of going back to a place and familiarity. And I always feel bad when I introduce myself and people hear my story, and their first reaction is always, "Oh, well, I don't want to tell you my story because it's really boring." And I think no, it's really interesting. Like, tell me what that was like.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
tell
yeah,
me what
yeah.
it's like to go back to your hometown and see the same people and have a house that you grew up in. So I think it just so happens that this is my life experience, and
Yeah.
that's it, for better for worse. I feel very lucky that I you know well left Blackpool, I guess, in 1989, but I was born there in 86,
Yeah.
but I'll still always love Blackpool. Like, I'm a product of the places that I was born. There's that really, I remember, I cannot believe I'm quoting this. was like I really love like war poetry, and I think
Hmm.
there was the one that is, if I should die, think only this of me. There is a
A
field, like,
corner of some forgotten field that is
field
forever
that lives
England.
forever
Yeah.
England, and I feel like there's just parts of me everywhere, and then like I'm parts of other things, and I feel like Italian in my soul. I feel like Irish in my storytelling. I feel like, you know what I mean, like all these different elements. Why have you got me quoting poetry? I don't know. Thank you for knowing it though.
No, that's lovely. No, that's great. That's great. That's really interesting. Yeah. So I'm just kind of moving on a little bit. So you kind of move on from talking about sort of different elements of yourself and points of differentiation between the audience, and you kind of pivot to talking about aging, which is obviously another very relatable topic. Well, I mean, you're talking about like moving spatially, and now you're moving temporally, right? Like, you know, you're always in motion. We like that. That's fine. So I mean, like, I really like the bit where you have this very interesting reframing of 30-something activities to the tune of 20-something activities, and I think the line is. Exercising to songs you used to get drunk to, which I really love. That's just really, really nice, like reframing of that. I mean, that is, I just think that is as identifiable as a fist, frankly. So, I mean, like, what for you, you know, as you age, when was the sort of the tipping point for you in terms of wanting to stay in versus wanting to go out?
Oh my God, I love this question. It's so funny because I remember being in my 20s watching comedians talk about age and thinking like, ugh, like why? You know, that's so. And now it was like I hit my mid 30s and it's all I can think about. It's all I can think about. It's all I
Yeah,
want to talk about. If I could talk about my age and aging for an hour, I would, because I can't believe it. I cannot believe I'm 38. Like I remember reading my mom's magazines and seeing like quotes from other women. And it was like, you know, Doris, 29. I was like, whoa, like that's so old. And but I did notice that a lot of comedians that I was seeing, you know, they talk about aging as it's this horrible thing. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm 30. I can't believe I'm this. But I
mm-hmm.
really do think it's like I love getting older. Like it's also really fun. Like I love now that I have no guilt about staying in. And it probably started to happen earlier than it should have because I think I've always been a bit of a homebody. Like even at
Mm-hmm.
house parties, you know, I would be in the kitchen and I was the one that was the sensible drunk, making sure all my friends got home.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then when
yeah,
I moved to London, I was what, 22, 24. And it was just so expensive to go out. I couldn't afford
yeah,
it half
yeah.
the time. Like, and that was what, 13 years ago. I
Mm.
just, I would go, I could only afford to go out once a week on my own money. And then the other nights were just like, you know, standing at the bar waiting for the tab at work to open because I couldn't afford my own drinks, and then I'd walk home. So I think when I got to an age where it was acceptable to just say like I don't want to go out. Actually, I'd much rather just stay in. I'm very much a quality over quantity person anyway.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I don't know. I think I got to like mid 30s and I went, oh, I'm at the age that other comedians love talking about it, and I get it because it's like there is just the switch when you can feel
Yeah.
the change. You know, you go, I'm not that old. And now that, you know, my day job, I manage people too. And I have these junior creatives that I've got to tell what to do. And I go, oh, I'm not them. We are not the same.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't think you've gotten old until you meet somebody who's actually young, and it's like, you don't remember 9/11. I'm like, that is.
Wow. Like, wow. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, wow. So I mean, in terms of like that pressure to like go out and party, was that an internal pressure? Was that a social pressure? Was that a work pressure given your day job and industry?
it's crazy because like I remember it's so funny. Like, this is such a roundabout way to answer your question, but like I think my parents never drank growing up, so like I
Mm.
never had alcohol. And then I would go visit my cousins in the north of England, like near outside Middlesbrough,
Yeah,
and
that's
I was
quite
like,
different,
"This
isn't
is
it?
so much fun" because I could get
Yes.
drunk at like 14 and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
loved it. And then I would go back to America where like it was house parties, which I always felt like were a bit lame, especially because you were driving. So then
yeah,
I moved to Italy at like 17 and I had access to alcohol and I loved it. It was so much fun. Like drank all the time. And then when I moved to London, like I said, it was just I found it hard to be spontaneous in London, but I'm a loser. I'm terrified of drugs. I've never taken them. So I didn't have the stamina, let's say,
yeah,
that is prevalent in the ad scene due to some of the
yeah,
recreational things that are taken. Like I wasn't on that. So you know, my limit was just not the same as everyone's because I would drink as much free wine as I could, be kind of drunk by midnight and get a kebab and go home. Like that
yeah,
was my experience of partying in London and a few house parties. Like I never went clubbing, but I was always like terrified of, I think my mom like scared me. I was like, I'll be that girl that they find in the Thames. Like I'll be the the story, and I just never really learned how to like fully let loose and party. And then by the time I don't know, hit a certain age, I was like, it's all right.
Yeah, I held myself back, but actually, I'm not that bothered about that. And the other
Yeah,
side of the safety rail doesn't actually look that great. In retrospect, you don't feel like you've missed out.
not really.
Mm,
Like, again, it's like I enjoy drinking. I don't know, like I had like crippling panic attacks as a kid. That always like created a
right.
boundary for me too. Like, I
Yeah.
think in a weird way it set this like net where I was like, you can have fun, but not too much fun, or if you take drugs, like you will end up in a mental cage you can't get out of. If you drink too, like my hangovers as I got older too would always fill me with anxiety. So that also like really helped in a weird backwards way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you feel that like early anxiety has kind of fed through and like affected you in other spheres of your life? And like, has it held you back, or has it given you like a necessary degree of caution and ability to defer gratification that's been helpful?
I think it's definitely like been a necessary, because I think I have, quite an extreme personality. Like I like to do things to the max. And I think if it hadn't, if anxiety hadn't created those guardrails for me, let's say, I
Yeah.
think I probably would have gone a bit like wilder, let's say. But I
Mm-mm.
think as I got older and, like I said, it just didn't feel as worth it the next day when I had really bad hangovers and things like
Yeah.
that. But it's also been a gift because it's lame, but like, it made me really reevaluate certain things in my life, and I know what my anxiety triggers are now, and it's really,
Yeah.
it, I recognize when I'm at burnout. I recognize when those voices are coming back in my head. It's like, okay, you need to sleep, you need to eat, and you need to look after yourself. Like,
Yeah.
catch
Yeah.
it. I catch it. And weirdly, comedy was such good therapy for me because it used to make me so anxious and so nervous about performing. I would get terrible stage fright, but at least then I knew where it was coming from. It was
Yeah.
like
You can name the fear. Yeah.
I named the fear, so that's what it is. It's not my mind going crazy again. So it like that's I think something that's kept me in comedy was a place to somewhere to pinpoint that anxiety or just to put it.
So I really enjoyed your flight of fancy with Eunice and the adoption. So I want to know like how authentic is that fantasy? Like, is this a daydream that you came up with all in one go, or is this purely a literary and artistic device?
Oh, it's a bit of both. I think I really love run-on sentences. It's one of my favorite ways to like structure a joke is just to go
Yep.
on forever with something because that's how my mind works. Like,
Ah, yes, until it's funny. Yeah, big fan of that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I just love it. I just love some of my favorite comedians do that, and I just I constantly live in my imagination, and it was my way of talking about motherhood in a way that was like, because I make the joke earlier that like I look so young because I don't have kids, but I don't want to seem like one of those comedians who's like, ha, like kids suck. It's like, no, I love children. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong. I do want them, but the kind of defense mechanism I have built into me is to explain to people because often, at my age, you get asked a lot, like, oh, kind of like, why aren't you having kids? So,
mm,
my retort was always like, how can I be funny about it and disarm people in a way that doesn't make me seem like I hate children, but doesn't make them uncomfortable because the truth is the opportunity just hasn't happened for me yet. So,
yeah, yeah,
you know what I mean? But the fantasy in my mind really is I see so many of my friends have, who've had kids and I see how hard it is.
yeah.
And I think it's wonderful. I want to be a mother, but at the same time, sometimes I wish I could just skip ahead a little bit, like skip
Mm-mm.
over the pregnancy bit, which looks awful for some people
It
and really
is. It
hard.
is. It doesn't. It's not fun. Like I've seen it a number of
Just,
times. It's really full on. Also, childbirth. I've seen that from the business end, and I'm like,
just,
like,
it
yeah,
looks, I think mothers are incredible. I think
yeah,
it's like the age thing where I go, I can't believe like that's how people are made.
mm, mm,
It looks so hard. And I have so many friends who are mothers at work, and I go, how are you doing this?
yeah,
So the joke there is just kind of like, again, it's the rom-com tie-in, which is
yeah.
it's a bit of one of my favorite rom-coms is called Baby Boom. Diane Keaton gets
Okay,
given a kid, and I was like, that would be cool. What if I could just
yeah,
skip to that bit,
yeah.
where you have the child, it's just handed to you in a really nice way, hopefully, and Eunice, I love the name Eunice.
That's fair. I mean, like, given my own experience of parenting, like, you love the child, you love the baby because you're biologically programmed to love the baby. But
Hmm.
then, like, they do get so much more rewarding when they can, like, have a conversation with you and, like, ask for specific named Joy Division songs that you've taught them to
Like,
like. You
how
know what I mean? Like,
cool is
that's
that?
the, yeah, yeah.
But like,
So,
you strike me as someone who would make a cool child, and my biggest fear is like, my
oh, the,
mom, all
mm,
of us are really cool kids, and she got lucky. And what if I make a
what if I make
child
a
I don't
massive
like?
loser?
What if he's just
Yeah.
hard? What if he, she, what if they're just the worst? And I was at a friend's house, and she was watching the Gilmore Girls with her daughter, who was like a
Mm.
cute little tween. And I thought, let's fast forward to that. Let's sit down and have hot chocolate together, and like watch this cozy little silly sitcom. But like, I know that the child will inevitably grow up and hate me, and can we skip? I don't know.
This is the worry. It sounds like you've got a lot of anxiety about that, and is that something that has held you back from committing to that path? The worry that you might produce a person that you don't like.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I just, as someone who likes to even control my anxiety and where it comes
Mm,
from, you know what I mean? Again, comedy, it makes sense, but when you have to look after another human, like, I know
mm,
this, like, so there's a huge, it's not that big. There's an 11-year age gap between me and my youngest brother. And, we all kind of helped raise him. We're all really close to him. And I love him, like, I love my siblings so much, like, it hurts my soul. Like,
yeah.
and I think I didn't know you could love people that much. And I go, if that's how I feel about, like, my siblings, how would I feel about something I made? I don't know how parents, like, I don't know how parents do it.
Well, it's we make it look effortless, but it's not. It's really hard. But it's it is hard work.
Yes.
Yes. On the subject of differences in generation, Finn and Finn's house. That bit's very evocative. So, like, how real is that story? How is Finn doing now?
Finn, he's great. He's doing okay.
Okay.
Finn is not his real name, but only because but I know Finn's prototype and his type. But yes, it is a true story. I did dabble in, let's just say, different target markets. COVID was a weird time. Do you know what? No, actually, why am I even joking about it? Because I think it's great that, like, people can date different ages. It's fine. It just so happened that my experience in dating younger did culminate in me in a house share where it was just a very startling moment sitting on the toilet and looking into the shower and just going, oh my God, like, oh wow, okay, that's a toothbrush in the shower where the bristles are so frayed. Like, I don't know if that's brushing a teeth, is used to brush teeth or to, like, clean the scum off the side
Yeah.
of the shower that I really want to clean. And would it be weird if I cleaned the shower for them? Yeah, it was, and the worst part is, like, I did stay, I did stay, if you will. And I think so. I didn't even leave after that moment, which I'm embarrassed to say. Like, I still got what I needed. And then I think it was in the Uber ride home that I was like, okay, yeah, right. But you know what? At least you could afford to get in a car, like a cab home. And that
That
felt
is
like
part of it, isn't
victory.
it? That's the maturity. That's the good bit of getting older. You can do almost facial humor about. It's like, yes, I can go out and I might be sleeping with somebody in their early 20s who doesn't own a towel, like in an official way, but at least I can get the cab home rather than a series of night buses. Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, cool. So I win. You know what I mean? I'm going back to my flat, and I
Yeah.
don't have to stay, which was great.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
he's lovely. Finn's great.
Cool. Good for him. Right. Lovely. Super. So, I suppose if there's this is a neater segue to this question than it normally is. If there's one thing you could say to yourself at the age of 18, what would it be?
Oh, what? You've
Mm.
probably prepped me for this, and then I didn't see that question, and now I feel, oh my God, that's okay. What would I say to myself when I was 18? I would say, one, don't change your accent when
Uh-huh.
you go to
Yeah.
that ad school. It will not pay off in the long run. You will regret it, and your accent will fluctuate between different dialects and confuse people. Um, I would also just say to 18-year-old Bronwyn, you don't have to like everyone, and not everyone has to like you. So much I feel like of my early 20s was about being a bit of a people pleaser, you know what I mean? Just making myself kind of make sense to other people. It was all about how could I make other people feel more comfortable around me, and I'm so sorry about my story. And I would have just told her, like, you can still be nice, you can still be the person that you are at your core, but you just don't have to be so apologetic about your experience, you know? And maybe start stand up a little bit earlier because you'll have more energy for it.
I mean, is comedy in a way like your attempt to square that circle? Because I mean, like, that's doing some people pleasing and getting people to like you while also not apologizing for your story.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is, it's I think about the growth. Even when I look at that clip, you know, from Quantum Leopard, and then I think afterwards I did Edinburgh. Like you know, even in comedy, I feel like I'm growing. Do you know what I mean? I look at some of my earlier bits of stand up, and I'm still pandering to an audience. I'm still figuring out what my voice is and how can I be agreeable and readable and make sense. And I think it's taken me years to get to this point where I can get up on stage and just go like, this is me. This is what I want to talk about in the time that I have. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, have a great evening. You know, I mean, of course I still take it personally. Like I think I bombed a couple weeks ago, and I definitely had a like, you know, a solo tear on the train home. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, it still happens, you know, but I do think comedy, it is funny because in a way it does help me reconcile that advice I've just given myself. But it is funny that I've just gone from one industry, which is advertising, which is basically people pleasing. You're putting an ad out into the world that you hope people like, to just doing it live. So maybe I just have a real thing about getting people to validate me in some way.
It's quite the thing to end on. Unfortunately, your expression can't be transferred to a largely audio medium, but that was it's a lovely bonus for me, at least. Okay, cool. Well, that was really great, Bronwyn. It's been lovely chatting. If people want to catch up with you and your stuff, where should they seek you out? What have you got to plug?
Right now, I would love to plug two things. Firstly, just follow me on Instagram at Broncom, where I post clips and musings and things about my life. And you can also listen to my podcast, which is just launched, where me and my three siblings discuss films that we want to watch. It's called Four Siblings Pick a Movie. A couple episodes available on Spotify.
Lovely stuff. Okay, super. Yeah, thanks so much for the lovely chat, Bron. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
That was the Quantum Leopard podcast. If you want to catch a live show in London, look us up at Linktree /Quantum Leopard to sign up to the mailing list. We will never take advertising because advertising is cultural poison, but from each according to their ability to each according to their need. So if you enjoyed our guests in your ears, but would like them in your eyes as well, we have videos of whole shows up on patreon.com/Quantum Leopard. We only charge when a new live show video comes out. If you enjoyed the show, why not give us a 5-star review on your podcast platform of choice and or share this episode on the socials. Editing was by Rhys Lawton, who is conventionally attractive and fun at parties. Music was composed and produced by Rooks Production Services at I Am Rooks on the socials. That's Rooks with an E. The Quantum Leopard podcast is distributed and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 4.0 international license, which means you can share it as much as you like, but don't change it or sell it in any way because I will find out where you live. Kind love and see you soon. Bye.
Thank you everyone for listening today, and thank you especially to our top tier patrons who we could not do this without you. The wonderful Gareth, the brilliant Jenny, the incredible Kate, Niblick, whose glory is brighter than a billion suns, Richard, who makes angels weep, Terry, who's just so superb that those who gaze upon them weep at their loveliness, and also another Richard. We've got two Richards. We've got two Richards who are our top tier patrons. What a delight. Thank you so much. We genuinely could not do this without you. You're the best. Okay, bye.
Sorry, this isn't very funny. I feel like I'm just like...
No, it's okay. Don't worry. It doesn't have to be... It doesn't have to be funny. Like, you can throw a pie at any stage.